Hi, my name is Attorney Walter Rudolph Hnot III. I'm with Disability Resolution PA. Let's talk about digital interaction difficulties, testimony questions that you're likely to hear in the hearing, and how they're relevant to basically doing a good job in front of these ALJs, Administrative Law Judges. So let's talk about computers, phones, tablets, smartwatches, PCs, blah, blah, blahs. Do you have difficulty turning them on? And think about these. These are things you need to think about when you're going to be giving testimony at the hearing. Do you have a hard time seeing what's on the screen? You know, the little icon's really small, is the color really tough for you, etc. Do you have a hard time holding the device without dropping it? Do you have a hard time hearing the phone when it's ringing? Do you have a hard time hearing a person when they're talking to you, like if it's on a cell phone? Do you have a hard time flipping the phone open, if any of you still use a flip phone? Hard time closing that flip phone? Hard time pressing small buttons? Do you have a hard time forgetting the phone is on or off? Do you have a hard time remembering what certain features are on the phone? Can't understand person calling out. So let's say that you wanted to go ahead and make a phone call and you weren't sure about what functions you needed to do. It was difficult for you to understand, for example, if you needed to make a voice phone call versus an in-face phone call versus, there's all kinds of things. A program phone call, that's a digi system across, from this country to Europe. Do you have a hard time understanding how all this stuff works? Let's talk about TVs, shows like that. Do you have a hard time remembering or understanding the plot of the actual show? Remember, each one of these shows has a plot, right? They used to be easier to point out because they were always like, Becky learned today that we shouldn't use crack cocaine. That's important, right? So the shows used to have this kind of basic, we would understand what was going on. Now they've become more complicated, and because they're always trying to do things that you wouldn't expect. So can you remember the show's plot? Is it hard for you to see the TV? How far away is the TV? If it were closer, if it were farther, what could we expect from that? Is it hard for you to use the clicker, right? We get back to those small buttons, being able to utilize it, click around different menus. Because remember, TV isn't TV anymore. It's all digital. It's just a big program that we log into. Okay, do we have a hard time remembering what our logins are? Everybody does. Everybody does at this point. We have a million logins for a million things, but if you can't remember any of your logins, then that's something. Do you forget how to use certain functions on your computer? Do you get frustrated easily with your electronic equipment, especially the computer? Are you able to complete tasks online or complete tasks in general on the computer? Right? A lot of you guys will start things and then never complete them. Do you have difficulty using a keyboard, right? Being able to type, fine versus gross manipulative features of a keyboard, right? Do you have a hard time basically writing on DVDs? Do you have a hard time putting DVDs in and creating things off of them? Okay? Or putting things onto them, rather. Do you have a hard time plugging in cables, unplugging cables? Do you have a hard time, let's see. Do you have a hard time putting a CD or DVD into a player? Where you have to drop it in, push the little drawer. You're actually not supposed to push the little drawer. You have to push the button, then it closes automatically. Do you have a hard time removing DVDs from a box? Yeah, especially when they first came out. It was impossible. Do you have a hard time pulling out a card? Like if you were at a POS system, point of sale system, and you had to boop, put the card in, read the chip, and then boop, pull it out, and then magically your money's gone. Do you have a hard time swiping your card? Do you drop your cards often or easily? Are you not sure what to push on the machine? Do you have a hard time lifting your arm upward? We're talking about e-cigarettes and cigarettes at this point. Do you have a hard time blowing smoke outward? Right? And we're talking about the ability to take in the volume of air, etc. And then, of course, we went to another topic. We talked about the assimilation of air into your blood. Do you forget to change the battery on things often? Or do you forget to charge things often? Because a lot of things just have a lithium-ion battery that, not for the life of it, but for a good portion of the life it will last. Do you have a hard time remembering to buy refills for things? Expendable items. So let's say printer cartridges, etc. You just don't stay on top of it. Let's talk about waking up. So do you have a hard time with a little clock, wake-up clock? Do you have a hard time waking up for work on time? Do you have a hard time utilizing the clock? Do you have a hard time completing tasks on time based upon a clock? Do you have a hard time keeping pace with others? Do you have a difficult time remembering to punch in and punch out, right? I know some people do on some days, but do you consistently have difficulty doing this function? Do you have a hard time telling the time, like looking at a watch and trying to figure out what time it actually is. I know a lot of watches nowadays, it's just a digital. It tells you exactly what it is as opposed to your, Chromos Mayer. You got to look at where the hour hand is and the minute hand and the little second hand and the moon, because the moon is important. It's very important in that. So, yeah. Do you often forget to set your watch? So you look down on it and get the wrong time. Do you not know how to use basic functions when it comes to technology? If you're watching this video, then you're not like a lot of my claimants who basically have difficulty with actually turning on a computer. So there's a lot of people out there, believe it or not, especially the homeless ones, who don't know how to use a computer or its basic functions. So just kind of keep that in mind. All right. My name is Attorney Walter Hnot. If you want the most up-to-date information, you want me to help you out in some way with your claim, that's fine. Shoot me an email or give me a call. Now, when it comes down to videos that you'd like me to create, like a custom video, I'm going to be putting on the website a page that you can go ahead and log into, or not log into, just go to, and then you'll just basically write in, I want a video on this. Okay, so that's basically the audio. The next video we're going to be doing is about activities and the difficulties you may have with them. So stay tuned, check it out, click around, subscribe, ding the bell, whatever, I don't care, and we'll go from there. All right, my name is Attorney Walter Hnot with Disability Resolution PA, an Orlando, Orange County-based Social Security disability law firm in Florida, for all you California people who keep calling me. All right, I hope all is well. Bye-bye.